All right, folks, so history before us. Frederick Murphy here with another interview. And I will tell you all, this came completely out the blue. I'm here in Martin, Tennessee, and I'm going to be at UT Martin doing some things, screening one of my films. And Henry Giles had reached out to me and said, oh, hey, I got somebody you may want to interview that's doing some things with our students here. And she is a quilter from G's Bend.
Of course.
Now, did I say that right? G's or Gees?
G's.
Okay, so I did get it right. So
You got it
Bend.
right.
And I greatly appreciate you for allowing me this opportunity. And I would love for you to introduce yourself before Ms. Pettway, before we jump into things.
My name is Mary Margaret Pettway. I'm from G's Bend, born and raised. I grew up in the house that I was born in. Stayed there for 40 years. Finally got able to get me my own little spot. Bought an acre of land.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Me and my children, and we moved, and that's about it, I guess. I was nominated for an Alabama Humanities Fellow in 2017, I think. Okay. 17, 16, 17, 18, somewhere up in there.
Around there?
Yeah. I was also nominated to be the board chair of the Souls Grown Deep Foundation. Not too long after that. I cannot put a year to it.
Yeah.
So now I am emeritus of Souls Grown Deep board chair emeritus. So hey, it's the rest of my life sort of thing.
You rocking and rolling now.
Hey.
I feel like in the 2010s era, early 2000s, there was a deeper interest in G's Bend and the quilting. And you would see everyone traveling and people just flocking down to G's Bend. You weren't always available, and we had talked off camera about why. And
Yes.
I just find it so noble to the reason in which why you weren't necessarily available during that time period. So can you tell people why you were off the scene during that time period?
During that time period, I was actually raising my children. Bill Arnett from Atlanta came down in the late 90s, early 2000s, and he started buying quilts. During the 2000s, anywhere from 2008 to 2010s, they were touring. They would go to different museums that had installations going on. And the people down there, he got, one white man or maybe two white men on a bus. A Greyhound bus full of black women, old black women at that. And they enjoyed themselves. Some of the women had never flown before. He took them on trips where they would fly. He took them to hairdressers. He took them to baseball games. I think they even went to a hockey game. They were even celebrated in Alabama at Auburn University. Yeah. So, yeah, the women, they enjoyed themselves. But I was busy at that time raising children, so I could not go.
For sure. You had to create and identify what your priorities were at that time period.
Yes.
Talk to us about just the community of G's Bend. Like, what was it like growing up there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
growing up in G's Bend was truly unique, where if you got in trouble at school, your parents would get a call or a visit before you got home. You got your tail beat at school, you got your tail beat when you came home, and if you were lucky enough to have a father, you got another one.
Another one.
Yeah. So, and they meant for you to learn and take advantage of the opportunities because our parents were not. My mother she had to get out of school to go in the fields.
Yeah. What was the crop that was
cotton.
It was cotton there? Okay.
Yeah. So she had a 6th grade education, but of 4 children living, all of them but one graduated high school, and I was the only one that did do some college.
Okay.
So yeah, and the reason he didn't graduate, he didn't want to. He left. So, but yeah, um, We were interested in making sure our children were self-sufficient, I guess.
Yeah.
And by self,
Do you, sorry to interrupt, but do you feel like in more rural areas like that, you kind of have to, right?
you need to.
Okay.
My
It's a
mother,
necessity.
yeah, my mother always said, "You're gonna learn how to clean up. You're gonna learn how to cook. You're gonna learn how to work. You're gonna learn how to do everything you need to do: iron, sew, patch, everything you needed. Because if you did get lucky and get married, your partner might not know nothing.
Yeah.
They might not know nothing like that. So, and believe it or not, my brothers were way better cooks than I was.
Really? But you're not too shabby though, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we were just talking about scrambling some eggs earlier. So
Yes.
we both like our eggs scrambled hard.
Scramble hard. But when I come home from this trip,
Yeah.
my daughter is gonna put me in the kitchen with some collard greens and ham hocks and neck bones and turn me loose. So,
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And so in the community, are there any elders that kind of stand out for you back in G's Bend? Before we get talking about the quilts and everything, but just your lived experience and elders that were in the community that left an impression on you that may not have been family members, but just people in the community. Can you think of anyone that just always was given sound advice or anything?
Only two.
Only two.
Yes. Well, there were actually three. There was my mother. And I still think she's the greatest quilt maker in the world.
Wow.
There's my Aunt Queenie. If the task was put before her, she did her best. Most of the time she did succeed.
Yeah.
And my neighbor, she did everything she could. So those are the three. So that's basically what I live off of. Doing the best you can do.
For sure. So quilting in G's Bend. Can you give us the origin story of why G's Bend became such a mecca in the United States for quilting?
It's not necessarily quilting altogether. It's the quilt making also.
Okay, talk to us.
The fabrics that we use.
Okay.
We used, well, when I was growing up, we used what we could, what we had at hand. Old, worn out things that couldn't be. See, G's Bend passed, even if you ran out of children, so to speak, if you had some old clothes that were still good, you would pass them to somebody else, to another family or a family member. When you ran out of children or you couldn't patch those things anymore, then you took them loose and you made quilts out of them. Because quilts were always there. You know, you had quilts to the windows because we had the wood frame windows which air would come in. You had a door that did not quite fit so air would come in. You hung them to the doors, put them down at the bottom of the doors. If you had somebody sick in the house, the older quilts got cut up and was used as a bed pad. Babies, the old soft, until you wash that quilt and boil that quilt until it was soft. Hung it out, let it dry. That baby had a very soft place to lay.
Yeah.
Or crawl on. So quilts they're irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You know, in my mind.
For sure.
They cannot be replaced with anything. I don't care how soft a blanket is. If you get the right quilt, made out of something that you like, and wash it well enough, yeah.
So it sounds like from the process, for one, it's just as valuable as if we were in the 1800s as a buffalo hide. You got to use it for everything. Like you just mentioned, covering up a draft in the doorway, or for the baby, or the window. It just your own personal warmth that you may need.
As a mop and everything.
Everything, right?
Everything.
It's so. My question to you is, when you got started, or when did you actually get started? I'm sorry. When did you actually get started in making quilts? Did you watch your grandparents do it? Where did this come from for you?
My mother, we grew up under the quilt. Just like this table sitting here, if you're quilting, then children are under the quilt. Because you're going to get in trouble if you're a child, you know, to save her some time and trouble, you're going to be where she can see you. So you start under the quilt and you watch them, how they do it, and you start off threading needles, and then you learn how to push it up through there without sticking them. And once you do that, they'll have you what they used to call whoop in a quilt. So they can see your stitches and see how far the natural spacing, your natural spacing is. Then it would go from there, and you learn how to hook in the ends of the quilt, and they'd set you at the end of that quilt. And you were expected to quilt. Not all day, but just for a little while so they could see how your stitches look.
Class was in session.
Yes, it was, and it was a hard class. So, yeah.
And so, with that being said, was there like a rite of passage that says, okay, that this person is ready? So, what was the rite of passage that said this person is a bona fide quilt maker as a young person, being, told from the elders that you're ready?
I was never told. My mother, she never worked at the Quilting Bee, the Freedom Quilting Bee in Alberta, but she worked for them, which means her stitches were immaculate. And when I got to the point I could sit down and sew with her, that was that rite of passage right there. So
it was the invitation. It wasn't.
No, it was being told to do it.
Okay.
Well, no advice. You come in, you got it sew.
Yeah, but prior to, if you didn't have it, you just wouldn't be sewing. Would you be just kind of like a sous chef, if you will, handing things over or what have you? Or so what was it like?
She had, when you didn't have a quilt up, she had you some pieces ready. Sometimes you had to learn how to cut your own pieces to fit, or either sew them and then cut them. So yeah.
Okay, gotcha. As it relates to the historical aspect of quilts, what it is that you've come to learn and what it is that you, of course, come to know, what is most fascinating about that for you?
In what sense?
In the sense of patterns that are chosen, in the sense of how quilt making is such a cultural tradition, specifically, in the South. It's not like there are factories everywhere that has all this material, right? Like you mentioned, we had to just, if you saw something on the floor that was part of a blue jean or what have you that was cut, overalls, like you would use any and everything, right?
Use everything you got your hands on.
Absolutely. And so for you, in that regard, just looking at taking whatever scraps it is, it used to be chitlins for us back in the day.
I don't eat them.
I don't either. But so from that perspective, how does that make you feel from a cultural perspective that you can take what people may throw away and create something beautiful out of it?
Well, it makes me feel good. Very little is lost when you're quilting. Now we throw away more than we ever should. I made sure my daughter learned how to sew and quilt. They prefer machine sewing, but they can hand quilt. Okay. My son also. So he sewed one. My daughter hadn't made up her mind yet, but she sewed one. And like I say, my brothers could sew and quilt also. Most of the men in G's Band can sew and quilt.
Do you feel like they get overlooked often?
Men? They do, because they won't let it touch them. They won't say, well, yeah, I can sew, I can quilt. My son, he'll sit down with me and try.
Do you think that's a generational thing? That the older generation just doesn't want to relate to that?
That's a chauvinistic thing.
Okay. I can respect that.
Yeah. That's just like some men, they won't tell you they can cook.
Yeah, I cook all the time.
I got friends
love
that cook. I'd rather have a man's cooking, long as I
Yeah.
ain't got to go in
You
the
know,
kitchen.
you
I'm
ain't gotta do
good.
it. I know that's right.
I mean, my son, I'll put him at top shelf.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, you grew up in this, of course, small community that this secret skill set was there.
It
That there
wasn't a
were. Well, I mean,
secret.
from I know, but like you all knew, right? But like
Yeah.
the world, like may not have just known that. Hey, it was.
Some parts of the world actually did.
Okay, talk to me.
And I would tell you
Well,
this.
let me say this real quick. Sorry to interrupt. That's why I love doing these interviews because I'm learning real time, just as these folks are, right? And because I really wasn't put on into the quilt making from G's Ben until like the 90s, late 90s, right? So that's me, you know. I was born in 79, and I've always known quilts. My great grandmother would do quilting and everything, but not from the perspective in which you all did.
You're still a baby.
Yeah, I'm 46.
I was born in 63.
I got you.
So,
But you're saying that people did know.
they did. Some people did know, and I'm saying that because every so often we were discovered. We would have somebody to come down. They would buy several different quilts, usually from different women. And they would go back, oh, we're going to tell them about y'all. We're going to tell the world about y'all. They never told the world about us.
Okay.
So, like I say, every so often we were discovered.
Okay. What do you think has kind of kept this mainstay now versus what it was back then? Because it seems like back then it was mostly word of mouth, but now, of course, we got social media and all this modern technology. So do you feel like that's what's sustaining it now?
What's sustaining it now is people seeing something that handmade. I mean, I love handmade goods.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, all the way down to lye soap. I love homemade goods.
That's all you know.
No, I know other things.
Okay. Well, I mean, from a young person's perspective, like when you were K through 5 or what have you, like was that how the community did they make their own soap back then?
They did.
Okay,
They-
so that was just kind of innate in you to
Yes.
like that. Okay.
Yes. They did their own soap. They did their own chairs. They did a bunch of things.
Let me ask you this: the things with the chairs where they do the
I can do it.
you know what I'm talking about? What's that thing? What is it called?
We call it platinum chair, but
Yeah,
it's caning.
Caning. There you go. Yeah, caning.
I
So
don't
you
know
cane.
how to use cane to do a chair.
Okay.
But if you give me some hemp or some string, I can bottom a
make it
chair.
I love it. Multi-talented. It's something special to be able to work with your hands, though. You
It
know what I'm
is.
saying? Like the Creator bless us with these.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Satisfaction.
Yeah, it's a whole different type of satisfaction, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have G's Ben that for years has been just, you know, all over the news cycles and museums and things like that. You're here at UT Martin.
Yes.
Can you tell people why you're here and the work that you've been doing while you've been here?
I am here because I met Henry last year while me and my daughter, we were in Kentucky at the National Quilt Museum. Bonnie, the year before, Bonnie asked me, and we stayed in touch every now and then, touching base, and we finally did. I had 2 quilts. Well, a quilt and a half, I put it that way, because my daughter designed the quilt. I brought it to fruition. So I made the quilt and we quilted it. So our quilts were on display at the Paducah Museum. Paducah Museum also had more quilts because they did come to G's Ben.
Okay.
And they figured out what they wanted, and they got an invite. They sent invites out to send the quilts in to the museum so they can be on display. And we went up there. I taught a class. That was the best class I've had.
How many classes have you taught? Did you teach up until that point?
I don't know. It was a lot of them. I go anywhere from children not being able to be trusted with a needle in this day and age, all the way up to 80-plus-year-olds. It doesn't faze me.
Yeah.
Because one thing I did find out, if you can teach a child while they're younger, teach a child some kind of rules or something, they will remember them, the younger they are. The older women, I'd say 25 and up,
Yeah.
or 20 and up, that is something they've got to learn. If you're going to pay for it, why not take advantage of it?
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you were saying something about that class, though. You started smiling real
That
big.
is the best class. Everybody in that class did what was expected of them.
Okay.
They picked their patterns, how they wanted it to look in the end. They bought their fabrics, they cut their fabrics, they brought sewing machines, they sewed their own pieces.
Right.
If it didn't fit, then they called me, but otherwise, they did their own thing.
Yeah.
And I liked that. So they wound up with something that they wanted to look like what they expected it to look like.
For sure.
And when it came to quilting, because let me see, we picked pattern one day. I stayed a week. Second day, they made their tops. The third day, we were quilting. The fourth day, we were still quilting. And I did teach them how to start hemming.
Okay. Now what, can you tell people the differences between the quilting and hemming?
Okay, the quilting part is where you layer the three layers together.
Okay.
And you quilt them, so to speak, stitch them together so they stay together. The hemming is where you turn it up or either put a binding on it so the insides won't fall out or get worn off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're here teaching students how to quilt.
Trying to, yeah.
Trying to.
Yeah.
The satisfaction that you get out of seeing someone starting it from inception to the end. Obviously, you know how it feels for yourself because you've been doing it.
Yes.
But then for you to put eyes on something that you help mold and cultivate through the hands of other people, how does that feel for you? And when you first started doing that, think about to your very first student who you had taught.
Both of my children.
Both of your children. Right. What was that feeling like for you?
It feels good. Because I know it's going to make them feel good. They may not like it while they're doing it, but my mother always said, learn everything you can. You don't know where you might have to be and what you might have to do. So, by that being said, you get what you need, whether you need it or not right then. Because one day you may have a kid. One day that child may tear something. You'll be able to put it back together.
You'll be able to put it back together. That's what's up. And how long does it usually take to do a quilt on an average?
It depends on who's doing it and how
detailed they want it to be.
No. How it depends on who's doing it.
Okay.
And the inspiration for it also.
Do you ever get, how some writers get writer's block? Do you ever get blocked and not say it's just
not
flows
really?
For you?
When you get a block when you're sewing or quilting, what you need to do, put that down for a little while and then come back to it later on, maybe a day or so after.
Did you have to learn that process?
Yeah.
And so talk about that if you don't mind. Was it a situation where you were just so driven that you wanted to just get it done and then it just, how did that come into fruition for you to learn that?
If you keep on going anyway, you will mess it up way worse than you would. And then you'll spend more time because
trying to fix it.
You gotta rip out and be careful, which you don't want to be when you're ripping out. So it gets to be a mess if you keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Where all has this been able to take you? And because you weren't able to kind of go on these tours on the front end of things because you were busy raising your children, where now has this taken you, and where has been your favorite place to go, and where are some places that you would like to go?
Hey, my favorite place was California when we did a project collaboration with Greg Lauren. I have been there several times. I've been to New York a few times. I've been to D.C. This is my third go here, I think.
Oh, really? Here at UT?
No.
Oh.
Tennessee, the
Tennessee.
state.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, got you.
I did not go to Raleigh, North Carolina. They just finished QuiltCon, so that I wasn't invited there. But I did have a quilt to go there.
Okay, that's good.
I've been to Georgia, and of course Alabama. I've been several different places.
Any places in New England, like Boston or Vermont or?
I've been to Vermont.
Okay. How was that?
I like Vermont.
I did too. I like that area.
Except for mud season. I like Vermont.
It's beautiful up in that area, right?
It is.
I went to Maine for the first time last year, and I'll be going back to Maine, and it's just gorgeous.
I can believe that. I have a friend that works with Souls Grown Deep. His mother was in Maine.
Okay.
And he said, I wish you would come with me. I don't know.
It's gorgeous.
Just imagine Maine is a mainly white place.
It is.
And me and you walking down the street holding hands or arm in arm, you know. So, but I enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wherever I go, I try to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to not to enjoy yourself to the best of your ability with the way in which the world is right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we just got so much. And when you and I talked offline about just how our history, we're seeing genocide in it right now. We're seeing the intentional erasure of melanated folks' history, deeply melanated folks' history. And so has that provided extra motivation for you to go even harder with your quilt making, to leave this lasting legacy that you know that yours won't be erased?
Mine won't be. Remember,
Kids.
I taught my children.
Yeah.
So they know the rules of it. So it will not be unless they wipe them out too. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite quilt that you've done? And how many total do you feel like?
No, I have no idea. I did not keep count.
Hundreds?
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Is there anyone who is a purchaser of your quilts that you can say that you were shocked that this person purchased one of your quilts, or that you were excited that this person purchased a quilt from you?
I'm excited about all purchases. I promise you I am. Not really. There are some people I do give quilts to, like Henrietta, Giles.
Yeah.
I will be giving her one of my pieces.
Nice.
Scott Browning, I gave him a piece. He's with Souls Grown Deep, and so is Carly. I gave the president of the Souls Grown Deep Foundation a quilt also.
Okay.
And I would say the vice president, because she is his right hand. I gave her a quilt. People that I know and feel a kinship with, I will give a quilt to.
That's good. And so do you just have them stacked up at the house?
Oh, please. No.
You do them real time?
I can, yeah. Okay. We have quilts out on loan also. If they contact me, I will loan a quilt.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So do you have any here with you that we can look at?
I have 3.
Can we pull those jokers out?
Yes.
Where should can we put it on the table or?
Yes, you
okay,
can.
let's do that. I appreciate you for doing this. This was completely unexpected, you all. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to do this. That Henry, who was at the University of Tennessee, Martin, had said, hey, I got somebody I want you to meet. And so Miss Pettway is here. Now, Pettway is a name that, it's a lot of Pettways down there in Alabama, right? Tell us about that, the Pettway family. Are all of y'all kin, or is it one of those things where it's like, well, that's that set of Pettways, and then it's another set of Pettways?
In different, I think we all are at some points. It does intersect.
Right. I'll get this in a second if you don't mind.
That's fine.
But you said at some point, obviously with the surname.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
y'all
so.
have a Pettway family reunion?
Every May Day.
I love it.
That's our family reunion.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it'll move.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So we have a piece right here, you all. Talk to us about this one right here.
This one here, I would be sitting on the bed. This quilt is handmade from top to bottom. Hand pieced. And I was sitting on my bed and I thought about it. I said, now, you know, green is my most favorite color and I love this shade of green. And I did not have white to put with it, so I used cream.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed myself piecing it.
What was this inspiration behind this one?
The movie, the Addams Family movie, Wednesday.
Really?
That's the name of this top, Wednesday. So yeah. And it's hand quilted, hand hem, hand everything.
Okay. And this is your signature.
That's my signature.
And you did this in 2025, October.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're an Addams Family fan.
Yes, I am.
All right. Wednesday in particular?
In particular.
Okay. Got you.
Yes.
And what's this next one? And the name
This
of
is a bricklayer.
Bricklayer.
Yes. Where I used I think a little bit over a yard of material. These are not bed-size quilts. I only make those if I need one at the house or want one at the house or somebody orders one.
Okay.
But yes, this is a bricklayer.
And it's so detailed. And this is, of course, not a formal training.
I went to Lucy T.U. University.
Okay. But
Yeah.
which is your mom?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
She didn't backstep. She did not like long stitches. And if you look at some of my stitches, they are reminiscent of hers if you knew her stitches. If you go to a museum or even pull up a picture of one of her quilts and, you know, pinch it open, you'll
You
see.
already know whose it was. That's her signature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Some people make long stitches. I do not.
Okay.
I was not trained to do that.
And this is the other one. What's this one called?
This is called I call it an old-fashioned double T.
Okay.
Because now the double T's are made like this short. So, But this is the long-legged old, double T.
And about how
I
long
like
did these take to make? Because they're roughly around the same sizes and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long?
Not long, because I made them for myself.
Okay.
I took my time. These are, like I said, this and the first one is hand-pieced.
Right.
The second one, however, is they're hand-pieced, hand-quilted, hand-hem. The second one is machine-made top, because I was told, look, we need you, 2 days notice, we need a top and need you to put up a top.
2 days.
2 days. Demonstration-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like it's important for young folks to carry on this tradition?
It's part of their heritage. It's simple with me. It's just part of their heritage. Know something.
Know something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't guess at it. Know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and all my quilts, I do make a mistake, and my daughter's the only one. Her and my son can.
They can point it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. As it relates to the legacy of G's Ben, as we kind of wind down this interview, with the quilt making, with the history that's there, Pettway families as well as others, what legacy do you want to leave behind? And I know, of course, we talked about your children, so your legacy, of course, is going to live. But when it's all said and done, as it relates to the work that you've done, what is it that you want people to remember about Miss Pettway and her dedication to this craft?
Nobody can put the quality out like I can.
Claiming it.
They can't.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, the younger people that are learning now, they want to hurry up and finish. You cannot hurry perfection. Okay?
Yeah.
And not saying I'm a perfect person, because I just told you, I make,
You make mistakes, yeah.
at least one
Yeah.
in every quilt. But you've got to be the person that can pick that mistake out. Yeah. So, yeah.
I love it. Well, I greatly appreciate you spending time with us. And again, I want to kind of show people. So this is the brick layer.
Yes.
This is Wednesday under it. Oh, no.
It's under there.
Okay.
It's under there.
Here's Wednesday right here.
It's just sliding off.
Yeah, she's sliding off. And then we didn't say what this one was, did we?
This is the old-fashioned double T.
Old-fashioned double T is what you call it. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are washable, so.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, all three of these have been
Have
washed.
already been washed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the one Wednesday. I'll have a quilt up at every airing of the quilts. This one was up this past airing of the Quilts Festival. Yeah. Yeah. These have nylon in them. All three. They have a nylon batting.
About how many festivals do you go to a year?
I go to one. We
Just
only
one?
have one.
Well, I mean, like
down
across
there.
the country, you don't travel to others?
Usually I'm not invited.
Why is that?
I don't know. They invite who they want. They'll invite like I don't think I'm a higher up, you know. So usually people that sell a lot or whatever, they're invited.
Yeah.
I don't. If people want quality, then they get in touch with me.
I can respect that. I can respect that for sure. If you want quality, this is where you go. Is there a certain place where we can contact you for purchases and things like that?
I do have an Etsy shop.
Okay.
If you know anybody that knows me, they've got my phone number, so you can call
Okay.
or send a text is better. I hate spam calls.
I know it.
So send a text. Look, my name is so-and-so. I got your number from, and give me a call and this is about a whatever. Yeah.
I got you.
I'm not hard.
Okay. Would you like to leave that information? Or would they need to know somebody that knows somebody?
It's easier to know somebody that knows somebody. Because then you're going to get...
preferential treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up.
Might even get a little discount.
There you
can't
go.
never tell. Yeah, but people, they complain about the price of the quilts. Now, like my quilts are all 2-color quilts right now, unless somebody demands something different. This is muslin. This is muslin, and this is muslin. Come from different companies. That's the best thing I've found yet to quilt on.
Yeah.
Because it's soft to your hand.
Yeah, it does feel really good, John. It feels really good, for sure. Well, this has been an educational experience for me. Again, I've read up on you all, seen things on TV all the time. There's a lady by the name of Phyllis who goes down there to G's Bend, and she quilts. Phyllis Bridges. You familiar with Phyllis? Okay.
I told you, there's very few people I do know.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. But this has been very educational for me. I hope so for you all as well. You all learning about her family history, as well as the places that she's been and the things that she's done. You all have seen some of her. Oh, she got something else to say. Hold on, let's
And I've been to Minnesota.
And you've been to Minnesota.
Yes.
That's what's up. And Minnesota, the Twin Cities.
Yes.
And so was St. Paul and Minnesota, Twin Cities. And so hopefully this episode for you all has been very educational. And follow the work of G's Bend. You just Google it. And
I promise
trust me, you will see a lot of information that's there for sure.
Or go on Etsy and pull up G's Bend Quilts.
Yeah, go to Etsy
You'll
and do the
see.
same. And you'll definitely see it and put your order in. I'm going to have to see what my budget looking like, because I definitely would like to have one of these for sure. But thank you all for watching. If you like this type of content, please make sure to subscribe and share. You all know that my mission is to share unheralded history, underrepresented history with whoever can find this information helpful. And so thanks for watching. Peace and blessings. Have a great day.